You're listening to Born to Beam, a radiation therapy podcast hosted by John Claudy.
Welcome, everyone, to the next episode of the Born to Beam podcast, where we share stories from the radiation therapy community. I am your host, John Claudy, and today I'm excited to welcome Nicki Rejkowski to the show. Welcome, Nicki. How's it going?
Thank you. It's going great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Fighting a cold, but it's okay. It's Friday, so that's good.
That's right. Perfect.
Yeah. But yeah, why don't you tell everybody about yourself?
Well, as you said, my name is Nicki Rejkowski. I am actually originally from Minnesota in the Midwest.
All right.
I have been a radiation therapist for 22 years. I attended the University of Minnesota, and that's where I got my radiation therapy degree. And then we had about 9 different clinical sites during the program, and one of those sites hired me during one of my rotations. So I worked there for about 8 years, and then I met my husband, who was a Texan. And so I moved down to Texas, and I got a job at UT Southwestern, worked there for about 13 years, and then very proud to say now I am working for skincare. So
Cool.
About myself, I have a husband and 2 daughters. One is a sophomore at UT Austin, and the other one is an 11-year-old 6th grade middle school.
Cool. They
Yes,
keep you busy?
absolutely. Sometimes
Yeah.
in a good way and sometimes not in a good way.
Yeah. I
One
know
is
what you mean.
she's leaving on Sunday for Mexico for spring break, and I'm like nervous.
Oh,
So
gosh. Hopefully not Puerto Vallarta, right?
no, she's going to Cabo, but still,
Okay.
it's
On the
one
other
thing
side.
when, we're going when we were young, but now that your parents and your child is going, that's a whole new feeling.
Yeah. Crazy.
So,
Well, awesome.
mhm.
So did you meet your husband like up in Minnesota, or how'd you guys
We
meet?
actually met on a vacation. So
Okay.
I was on a vacation with friends. He was on a vacation with friends, and our groups of friends met each other.
Uh-huh.
And we spent like a whole week together doing everything together after we had met in the pool. And
Yeah.
so after that, we kept going back and forth, like the groups visiting each other. And my husband and I kind of connected and then started a long distance relationship for about 2.5 years. And
Wow.
yeah, I was a manager at Maplewood Cancer Center in Minnesota when I had met him, and I was going back to school, getting my bachelor's degree in healthcare administration and business. So at that
Mhm.
point, I wasn't ready to relocate. But then after my program was completed, I felt like I had nothing to lose. So I packed a bag and moved to Texas. And
All right.
now, what is
Been here
it?
ever
I guess
since.
16 years later, I'm still here.
Very,
So
very cool. Awesome.
yeah.
That's a cool story.
Yeah.
I feel like you don't hear that a whole lot.
No, it's kind of crazy, but
Yeah.
it worked
That's
out for
awesome
us.
though.
So yeah.
That's great. Cool. So I guess when you were a child, did you
hmm
always want to do something in healthcare?
I
When
did.
you were a little girl, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I always thought I wanted to be either a doctor or I thought of a veterinarian, something. I love animals, so I didn't know if I
Yeah.
wanted to. I always knew that I wanted to do something where I was caring for others, if that made sense.
Yeah, it
So,
does. Well, how'd you
yeah.
stumble upon radiation therapy then?
Well, I think when I was 14, my dad was diagnosed with melanoma.
Oh,
And so then it was a mole on his neck, and it was just removed at the time. And then once, it was stage 4 at diagnosis. And I think he was 30, was he 38 when he was diagnosed? And then, once you're a cancer patient, you go for follow-ups every 3 months, then you move to 6 months. Then if you're clear, you move to a year. And it was his first 1-year checkup. And he had a CT scan, and they found 3 lesions in his right lower lobe.
oh wow.
So then they found out that it was metastatic melanoma at that time. So then obviously all the treatments start, all the surgeries, all the things. So at that point, we just went through a lot. So I was a junior in high school, I guess, when it came back internally. And then he
Uh-huh.
passed away when I was a freshman in college.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I think just going through all of that and all of his treatments during the summer after my senior year, I brought him to all of his radiation treatments,
Yeah.
which kind of, was me looking back. I'm glad I had that time with him because I was able to spend
Yeah.
every waking moment with him the whole summer before I went to college. So that's what
Wow.
kind of paved my way into radiation therapy.
Gotcha. So he's
Yeah,
probably, would you say he helped shape your career path then?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Just watching what he went through and just all the things and the people that cared for him at the time, I just was like, man, someday I want to be able to caregive like these people that are giving so much love to my dad, who's to them a complete stranger. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's just so amazing. And then the way that those people just touched our lives, you kind of get to know them and you see them every day, 5 days a week. And
Yep.
I don't know. It just really made me want to give back to the people that, just to people that did the same thing for my dad.
Yeah. That's incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
I think that's what myself and even a lot of other people like about the radiation therapy field, though,
Hmm.
too, is just building those connections with
Yep.
patients because it's not like CT or sonography, like any of those other, you just see the patient like one time
Yep.
and that's it. But like with our career, I mean, you learn everything about them and
Oh my gosh.
I can still tell you patients' names and stories and everything like that. And I'm sure you can too.
Absolutely. I think that's the best part of radiation therapy for sure. And that was probably the hardest part of my last job because I ran the CT simulator at UT Southwestern in
Hmm.
Dallas here. And I feel like I didn't get, you don't get so much, you get the first scare with these patients, meaning like the simulation is the first time you come in, you do the setup, you make the mask, all those kind of things. But so I felt like I didn't get that as much because you see them the first time and then you don't see them again. And it's
Yeah.
like, I kind of miss that seeing people day to day and capturing people's lives and their stories and you don't even get the story of their cancer journey. You get the entire story of their family and their children and their grandkids and what they like to do in their life and stuff like that, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, definitely. So is that probably what you love most about the job, or is there anything else that you
Absolutely.
enjoy
I
about
love
it?
it. Yes, I think
Yeah.
making a stamp in people's life in a vulnerable time like this, I think is just so awesome to me. And some people love it, and some people probably it's hard. But I
Mhm.
just think being able to let them talk to you. And sometimes I feel like patients, when they're around their families, they have to be that strong person. I feel like I remember that from
Mhm.
when my dad was sick. Like he felt like for us kids, he always had to be that strong person he couldn't be or maybe go through some of the feelings that he really did feel. And then I feel like for us, sometimes we're that person for them. You
Yeah.
close the door and it's just you and that patient and they can, you know, all the feelings kind of come out and you can be that person for them, which I also like about what I do.
Yeah. How has it been with, just doing skin cancer now? Like you still gonna develop those relationships with patients, but hopefully it's
Yes.
not, as
In a much better way.
traumatic. Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
I'll be honest, it's a much better way. Like I know those people are walking out of there and, you know, today is not going to be their last day. Next week is not going to be their last week. You know what I'm saying? I do really like
Yeah.
that. When you're in a hospital, especially a university like UT, I mean, sometimes you question when you walk in the room, are they going to, you know, still be there? You know what I'm saying? And that's happened
Right.
before. And
Yep.
so I really do love the fact that they're going to be okay. And, I'm going to treat them and they're going to be, they come in, they're happy, they're healthy, they walk in and out and they're off to whatever they have next. They're not actually like physically sick. So I do
Yeah.
like that.
No, that's great. Do you have any particular patient stories that you remember or are fond of?
Yeah, this is kind of a weird one. So, obviously, melanoma has always like captured my heart, and that's not what I treat anymore. And I'm happy that I don't. I love
Yeah.
what I'm treating now. But I had this patient that I really ended up getting close to her, and she was like in her I think 40s, and she was a melanoma patient, and she
Mhm.
had rectal melanoma, which is
Oh,
not
wow.
very common. Yes,
Yeah.
and
Not
she
heard of
used
that.
to say to me, yeah, she used to say to me, I always wanted to be that stay at home mom. And she was
Mhm.
like, and now I just want to go to work because she was not working because she was so sick. And
Yeah.
then the next time she would say, she was like, and then I've always wanted to be so thin. Like I always was the
Mhm.
chubby mom or whatever. And she was like, and now I wish I could gain 10 pounds.
Yeah.
So she always stood out to me because I was like, how you always think you want something better or more or something around the corner looks better than what you have. And then, looking from her, she was like, enjoy what you have, enjoy the moment you have, enjoy being able to go to work every day, enjoy being able to walk, or enjoy being able to feel good and going to dinner and feel
Mhm.
hungry. I think that is something that really has been with me this entire like I probably met her 15 years ago. And,
Yeah.
she obviously didn't make it and stuff like that. But I always try on a bad day. I'm like, well, remember when you don't want to go to
Mhm.
work or you don't want to, you do want to be your body to be different and all that kind of stuff. I was like, yeah, no, I'm just happy that I'm healthy and I have my health and I can go
Yep.
to work and things like that. So that's
Yeah.
one story that sticks out. But I mean, I have so many, but we treated pediatric patients at UT Southwestern as well. So I feel like a lot of those stood out more to the fact of I did, I had to treat their child, but more than anything,
Hmm.
it's like stepping back and being there for the parents, you know what I'm saying? And knowing and
Yep.
feeling what they're going through and not even being able to imagine if that was my child.
Yeah, it's
So,
just been heartbreaking, but
yeah, for sure.
definitely puts things into perspective. And I think it's that's a great story for everybody to hear.
Absolutely.
But,
I tell my daughter sometimes too, not
yeah.
that exact, but I'm like, be happy for what you have. And, when they're little and they're growing
Yeah.
up, it always looks better, at Rachel's house. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah. But you never know.
never know.
Well, cool. What do you have like any career accomplishments that you're proud of?
Well, actually, yeah. Like when I was at UT Southwestern, I was able to proctor new staff, which I
Hmm.
really loved. I like the teaching aspect of my career. Like I love to help build and shape like the new clinicians. We even just talking about new radiation therapists. We had a school at UT Southwestern, and we did. They no longer have it now, but we were the therapists that trained these kids and taught them exactly like how to do setups and how to treat these cancer patients and stuff like that. And not only them, we helped, the residents that were there, learn patient setups and just, the small things about radiation therapy that you can't like learn in a book. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like I said, like front hand patient, setups and stuff like that. And I really love that because now I look back and some of the therapists that I taught, they now work for skincare, which is like so awesome. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh my gosh, like I know her. She was my student at UT Southwestern and I know him. Or I love that because I feel like helping pave the way for like the new therapists that are like coming in. I think that's makes me, I guess it's like a feel good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So do you enjoy teaching them too? It sounds
I
like.
love it. I love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I couldn't teach school, so I'm not saying I could be a teacher, but I can go ahead and
Right.
like, teach therapists, learning on the job type stuff. So,
Yeah. Awesome.
yes.
Cool. That's good. So I guess a little more personal note now. Do you have any like personal accomplishments that you're proud of?
Personal accomplishments, I feel like one, and this has nothing to really do with my job, but just being a mom. I mean, I feel
Hmm.
like every day is an accomplishment. As much as it is the hardest job you will ever have in your life, it's so rewarding. I think that's a huge accomplishment. It's just, like I said, being a mom, being a wife, just all the things. I guess also I went back to school and I teeter-tottered if I was going to do it, if I should, if I shouldn't. And then I did it. And that was a big accomplishment because I worked full time and then I was a manager
Hmm.
at my clinic and then went to school 3 days a week from like 5 to
Yeah.
30. And thankfully I did it before I was a mom and married and had kids and all that because I don't think you could do it now. But that's another pretty big accomplishment. Just knowing that I did it, I finished it. So
Yeah, for sure. So you said you were the manager of a clinic that was not radiation therapy related.
it
Is that right?
was. So it
It
was a
was?
freestanding clinic in Minnesota. It was a US oncology clinic, and
Hmm.
half of the clinic was radiation, and then half of the clinic was a medical oncology, chemo, and then we had a pharmacy and a lab. So it was like kind of a freestanding clinic for like one stop shop for a cancer patient. You could see your radiation oncologist there, you could see your med onc, you can get your chemo. They would come down with their chemo pumps or chemo, and they would be getting chemo while we treated them with radiation. So it was
Hmm.
really nice. And then we had a PET scan, we had like general x ray. So I managed like the radiation therapy side of the clinic.
Okay.
So
That's a big job.
yeah,
How
it was
many
fun.
staff did you have? Was it a big clinic
No, it was
or
just
I
two
guess how many
machines.
machines? Two
It
machines?
was yeah, two machines, one CT simulator. So I want to say there were six radiation therapists and then seven including me because I also still helped on the machines and stuff. And then I had two CT technologists and they also started IVs for the contrast and stuff. And then we had four radiation nurses and I had two back in PET CT.
Huh.
And then we had four dosimetrists.
Okay.
So
It's a pretty busy place.
yeah. I mean, we treated sometimes. I mean, we treated long hours. So sometimes our first patient would be 7 in the morning. We'd treat till 8:30 at night.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it was pretty busy.
Yeah. Sounds
So
like it.
we did different shifts, early, middle, late shift. We rotated and we did all kinds of different things, 10-hour
Yeah.
shifts. So
How did you, because that was pretty early in your career, right? Like, how did
yeah,
you,
I graduated from the University of Minnesota in August and then I started there in September. And then I was there probably 3 years. And then they kind of asked me. The manager had left, and I don't know. I was really close to the radiation oncologist. I don't know if they had some to do with it or something like that. And then I did that until I moved to Texas.
yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, they must have saw something in you.
I guess. I don't know. But I enjoyed it a lot. But same
Good.
thing, like you just lose the patient aspect of things, like the clinical part of things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it absolutely does.
Yeah.
My favorite things, because I'm not clinical much anymore, but when I go visit sites, hopping in and trying to help if I'm able to, just
Absolutely.
talk to the patients because it's a lot of
Hmm.
fun.
It is.
I
I
don't
feel like
get
you
it
learn a
anymore.
lot. Yeah, you
Yeah,
learn a lot from them. It's so crazy. And just, I don't know. I really do like it.
yeah, it's fun to hear their stories for sure. I mean, it sounds like your dad was obviously a big influence on
Hmm.
you when you were growing
Hmm.
up. Did
Absolutely.
you have anyone else who kind of influenced you or
You know,
mentored
I
you or looked up to?
Yes, I did. I had a golf coach that I was majorly into golf when I was young. That's not something a lot of people know about me, and I don't do it anymore, which is crazy. It
Oh,
was something my dad and I shared together.
oh,
So
cool.
he saw a natural talent and got me into golf at a very young age. And at first, I hated it. And then I
Yeah.
developed a huge love for it. And then that's all I wanted to do. So I was, gosh, I made the varsity team as a seventh grader.
What?
So, yeah, and then I was in junior PGA for, like, 4 years.
No
So
way.
and then my dad passed away, and I gave up the game. So, anyway,
Wow.
but, my golf coach was a huge I mean, he was there a lot for me. My junior and senior year, my dad was pretty sick, went in and out of
Yeah.
being pretty sick, and depending on what treatments he had and stuff like that, like, he just, was a big supporter for me and just, supporter for me even in golfing because he knew I didn't love it as much. Because every time I went out, I would go with my dad. So it's like if he couldn't
Yeah.
go with me, then it was like it wasn't really fun. You know what I mean? It's something him and I did together. I would say my dad just showing me resilience and all the changes that went through his life and how much he fought for his life, not only for himself, but also like
Mhm.
to be there for our family. You know what I'm saying? And with everything that you do, you remember those things and like, the strength that you get through, going through things like that.
Mhm.
But, my dad was always the one that was, the stars the limit, keep pushing for more. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
in a positive way, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah, it does.
yeah.
And I mean, I've known you now for like 2 or 3 years, is that right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, and I mean, I definitely see that in you. I mean, you're a go-getter.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, your dad would be very proud.
Well, thank you. I hope so.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about picking up the clubs again just for recreation or
Well, it's funny. They have Top Golf's a big thing here, but they're growing
Yeah.
all over. So now in Vegas, they have them everywhere. So I really love the game of golf. And we'll go sometimes. So my brother-in-law golfs a lot. He's a super good golfer, but my husband does not golf at all. And he
Mhm.
won't golf I think because he knows how good I am, he doesn't want me to beat him. So I
Yeah,
think he doesn't golf for that reason either. But it's really hard because it's so hot here. And when I golfed,
right.
I grew up in Minnesota and it's not all that hot. So I don't know. I don't know that I would enjoy golfing in the summer because it gets so warm. But when I go to
Yeah.
Top Golf, it's weird how, they always talk about muscle memory. And I
Uh-huh.
started golfing when I was like 4. So I can totally understand where that muscle memory is because we had a team building event for Dr. Hopkins. So obviously, Hopkins Rheumatology is where I work. And so she had a
Yep.
team building event and they went to, it wasn't called Top Golf, but it was called something, it was just like that called something else. I
Uh-huh.
mean, it comes right back. It's crazy. I
Yeah.
mean, yes. And then once I do it, I miss it. You know what I'm saying? Once I get the clubs out and I start hitting it, I was like, oh man, I just really miss this game. But I just, one, it's hard for me to find time because my daughter competitively dances. And so she dances about 14 to 15 hours a week. So it's
Mhm.
like with work and then her dancing, I'm like, I really don't have much time for golf. But I feel
Yeah.
like as I get older and she gets older and I have more time, I feel like when you get older and you grow up and you get close to, having more time, you need a hobby. And I think that would be a
Yeah.
great hobby.
Yeah.
So hopefully my husband will pick it
Absolutely.
up at some point.
Yeah, I mean, people play golf into their
Oh,
80s, so
forever. That's why I always tell my little girl, I was like, you need to pick up a hobby that you're going to like when you're, grown up,
yeah.
not dancing.
So,
But
when you went with the clinic, did you totally school everybody?
oh my gosh. I mean, yeah. I think they were all like, so you didn't tell us you knew how to play this. And I was like, well, I mean, I don't really talk about it. But yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Ted was like, whoa, can you teach me a few things?
Yeah.
I was like, well, JB was there too.
Well, that's
He was like,
awesome.
do they know the skincare? Does Josh and John, do they know how good you can golf? And I'm like, no. I was like,
No.
no, of course they do not know how that I can golf. But I mean, hitting the ball is one thing, and then playing 9 holes is a whole new thing. Like putting and chipping the short game and stuff. It's a whole
Yeah.
different world. So
Yeah.
anyway,
That
but
is
yeah,
a good secret talent to keep. I won't tell
hilarious.
anybody. I won't
Don't
tell
tell
anybody.
anyone. It's our secret.
So, If you could go back and tell your younger self something, what do you think that would be?
Oh, what would that be? I would say to not take any relationship or time spent with somebody for granted. I
Mm,
would say that. Because I feel like,
yeah.
we jump in and out of life and just, different things. I had a really close friend that I lost at a young age. He was in a snowmobile accident and he was
Mm,
like one of my best friends.
yeah.
And, just like, taking like time for granted. And I feel like now with, just social media and cell phones and all that kind of stuff, you feel like every single time you're together, it's like everyone's on their phone and are
Hmm.
you really spending time with the people that you're with? Are you really, captivating that relationship and being involved and all that kind of stuff? And so I'm really, strong with my daughter. I was like, I want you to have a conversation with me. I want to know how your day was. I want to like build
Uh-huh.
a relationship. Like I don't want you to sit on your phone and watch a YouTube video or whatever the kids love to do on their phones. So I just feel like stepping back and, not taking relationships and time spent with people for granted
Yeah.
is probably the biggest for me.
No, I love that. That's important. If you had 1 month to do whatever you wanted, what would it be? Like, money's not an option. You don't have to worry about
Travel
work.
the
You just
world.
have a month. Where would you go
Yes.
first?
Oh my gosh. I would go ever. I would want to go to Italy. I want to go to Greece. I want to go Portugal, Spain. I want to go to Germany. I mean, all the places. I want to go to Alaska. I want to do an Alaskan
Yeah.
cruise. I want to do all the things. But I love to travel. That's one thing that I would really like to do.
Awesome. What was the
Yes.
last big trip y'all had?
The last big trip. So we go to Minneapolis a lot. Obviously, that's not a big trip, but we
Yeah.
started 2 years ago. Instead, we talked my daughter into having a birthday party. Let's travel to a city in the US. So
Hmm.
we started that. We had to first, talk her into not having a friend birthday party, which was very hard. But
Yeah.
once you plan a birthday party and all that you spend on a birthday party, it's a lot of money.
Right.
So I was like, why don't we travel different cities of the US for your birthday? So her 10th birthday, we went to New York, which was amazing and she loved it.
Hmm.
And then last year for her 11th birthday, we went to Washington, D.C., and I had not been since I was a child.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I feel like that was a really fun trip. Like we had a great time, just like all the museums, the Smithsonian's, like just everything. We had an amazing time. It was super hot. It was 90
Yep.
some degrees and probably 100% humidity because she has
Yeah.
an
It's
end of
humid
July
there.
birthday. I did not know it was that humid. I mean, it was
Yep.
almost unbearable. But I mean, all the other just, seeing all that stuff, we just really enjoyed ourselves. So
Great.
that was my last
Yeah.
big trip, I guess. We went to Florida. We take a lot of little trips because you know me, I don't really like to take
Yeah.
off of work.
I know. You
I'm
need.
pretty bad
You need.
about that. I really don't like to take off of work, and here's the deal. The one thing I don't like about more than anything is I like to treat my own patients.
I know
So
you do.
that's the other thing is I want to be there for them.
Yeah.
So I just feel like the comfort, you know what I'm saying? Like the patients get comfortable with the person that has been with them from the beginning. And so I
Hmm.
do it more for them than anybody, if that makes
No,
sense.
you have a good heart, Nikki.
Yeah. Well, I try.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite place that you've traveled to?
Well, like I said, I don't like to take a lot of time off. So I'm all about quick trips. Like, where can I maximize my time? Direct flight, just a few hours. So my husband and I are big Mexico goers. We've got
Uh-huh.
married in Mexico and I think Henley's been there. She's 11 and she's probably been there at least 18 times.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah.
we used to go like every 3 months before she got really busy with dance. But now that's just kind of hard because she dances so much. But anytime that we have 3 days, we're going to just jump and
Go to
quick go for 3 days.
Mexico.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because it's a 2 hour flight. So you can be
It's
there in
true.
2 hours, be on the resort by, 10 o'clock in the morning. And I mean, it's great. It's fabulous.
Yeah.
So we
It
really
sounds
like the
nice.
beach. But
I need
no,
to.
it's not good for your skin, but like the
Yeah.
beach.
That's what sunscreen and photo
That's
protection are
right.
for. Maybe I should take a
Yes.
page out of your book and take some more mini vacations.
We do
Sounds
more
relaxing.
little vacations.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome. I love that.
yeah.
That's good.
Mhm.
What is something that you're grateful for?
Oh gosh, my family, my friends, my health more than anything. I mean, we take our health for granted, really. And then I would say my incredible job. I'm very, very fortunate to have the job and the career that I have. And for doing it for this long and still loving it as much as I do, I feel like I definitely chose the right path for me. So I
Yeah.
would have to say my job for sure.
All right.
I
Good.
like making a difference. I like all the things. So I want people to remember me for, positive, things and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I think they will. All right. Last question's kind of deep, but if you could go back and relive one day without changing it, what day would you go
Ooh,
back to?
gosh. So this is a hard one because I probably have two. One of them, if I could go back to one day that I had spent with my dad before he was diagnosed with cancer, I would totally do it.
Yeah.
And then the other one is I feel like my kids grew up so fast. So I feel like if I could go back to one day when they were little, you know what I'm saying? Just to experience
Yeah.
that little kid life again with them, I would definitely do that too. So
Yeah.
those are like two, if that
Do you
makes
have
sense.
it does. Do you have like a specific memory from a day?
So for my little girl, it was probably our first vacation that we took her on. We took her to Walt Disney World, and bringing her right up to that castle and the look on her face was like incredible because I had seeing it for yourself as a child, and then I hadn't been there till she was little, and then I was an adult, and then seeing it through your child's eyes, it was like an incredible feeling. Like, I mean, I don't even know what was going through her head at the time because the
Yeah.
castle looks so big, you know what I'm saying, for those little tiny people. So it'd probably be that. And for
Mhm.
my dad, like specific time would probably be when I was I made it to the junior cup for junior PGA. So I made it to like the end, like the last
Uh-huh.
tournament, and you have to qualify for it. And it was at Hazeltine Golf Course in Minnesota. And I feel like just the look on his eyes and to know how proud he was of me, I would like go back there all over again. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
those
really
two
cool.
probably, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
No, they both sound super special. That's great.
Yeah.
I learned a lot. Like I said, I've known you for
I'm
a few
like, oh
years now,
gosh,
and I just learned a bunch about Nikki.
I
So
know. Isn't that crazy? Probably
yeah.
more than you wanted to know.
No, it was perfect. I enjoyed it.
Well, good.
So
Awesome.
I don't know how many people are going to watch this, but the idea is to have the radiation therapy community watch these podcasts. Is there anything that
Oh,
you want to tell like your peers, any
what would I want to tell
motivation
their peer?
or
Motivation.
just anything in general?
In general, I just think like, always you're taking care of very special people. So I feel like when you walk into work every day and every person that sits in your chair, you always have to, treat them as you would want like your family member being treated. Because I feel like that's something I really learned being a radiation therapist and being like on the side of taking care of people. But I never forget what it feels like being on that other side because I
Yeah.
was there at once. So it's like, I just think like always remember the people that are sitting in your chair, the people that you're talking to, that's somebody's loved one. And
Mhm.
they love them as much as you love your grandpa, or they love that person just as much as you love your dad or mom or sister or brother or whoever that may be. So I would just say, always remember, treat people with kindness. And, we all understand that patients can get us to our wits' end sometimes, you know what I'm saying? And the
Yeah.
questions, and then trying to think they know more than us and all that kind of stuff. But just, always step back and think of like, what if that was my mom or my dad? How would I want somebody to treat them going through something like this?
Yeah. No, excellent advice. I love it.
Yeah. So
Cool.
that's me in a
No,
nutshell.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes another episode of the Born to Beam podcast. Thanks again to Nikki for being my guest today. If you would like to be a guest in a future show, be sure to comment down below. And then also don't forget to like and subscribe so you can keep watching our episodes. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Born to Beam. This episode was brought to you by Gentle Cure by Skin Cure Oncology, a non-surgical radiation therapy option for treating non-melanoma skin cancer.